The Stoics say actor non verba greatness is not receiving praise from others. True greatness, according to Stoicism, is defined by good character and doing the right things for the right reasons. Stoics focus solely on their own actions, striving to make them virtuous, regardless of others' expectations. As Marcus Aurelius put it, just that you do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter. He means that externals results, people rewards will sort themselves out. Your responsibility is to yourself, to make choices that are truly yours. Therefore, remember this Stoic rule. Virtue is the sole good. All else is an empty dream. You must guard your attention with the utmost care, allowing entry only to those worthy of influencing your mind. Privacy is more than just a shield against extern scrutiny, it's a cornerstone of living a virtuous and focused life. The Stoics understood this deeply, emphasizing the value of discretion and the power of safeguarding one's inner world. In this expanded exploration, we'll dive deeper into 7 key areas of life that, according to Stoic principles, should remain private. For each, we'll delve into its philosophical roots, modern relevance, practical applications, and stories to help you cultivate a life of wisdom. Clarity and peace. Number 1, your goals before they are achieved. The Stoics taught us the importance of action over words. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminds us, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. This teaching underlines a profound truth. Words without actions are empty, and intentions shared prematurely can weaken resolve. Sharing your goals can expose them to criticism, envy, or even distractions that dilute your focus. Moreover, the temptation to talk about what you plan to do often replaces the energy needed to actually do it, leaving your aspirations unfulfilled. When we broadcast our ambitions, we risk relying on external validation for motivation. This is a fragile foundation that can crumble when faced with adversity or negativity. The Stoics, by contrast, would advise us to focus on the process, not the applause, by rooting ourselves in the present and dedicating our efforts to the task at hand. We ensure that our actions are aligned with our deeper purpose. After all, the outcome is shaped by what we do in the present moment. The only thing within our control. Imagine a scenario. A young entrepreneur with a brilliant idea shares their plans widely, seeking encouragement instead of support. They encounter skepticism, unsolicited advice, and even discouragement. These reactions sap their energy, leaving them disheartened and less committed to their goal. Over time, they realize the value of discretion and learn to focus their energy on execution rather than exposition, finding strength in quiet perseverance. Another illustrative example comes from history. The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus emphasized that progress in life comes from disciplined effort, not boasting about what we intend to achieve. By keeping our ambitions private, we guard them from being trivialized and ensure that we remain steadfast in our commitment to excellence. Write privately. Maintain a JN where you record your goals and progress. This creates accountability without external interference. ACT, first speak later. Let your actions and results demonstrate your ambition. When others notice, it's a reflection of your diligence, not your declarations. Reflect regularly, evaluate your progress privately, and use Stoic tools like evening reflections to assess how well your actions align with your values. Visualize success internally. Picture your achievements in your mind and let that image guide your actions rather than sharing it prematurely. Guard your focus. Remind yourself daily that energy spent discussing plans can be better spent executing them. Seek intrinsic rewards. Find satisfaction in the effort and discipline you apply, rather than in external recognition or praise. Number 2, your wealth or material success. Epictetus cautioned us not to tie our happiness to externals, like wealth, which are beyond our ultimate control. Flaunting material success not only attracts envy, but also fosters attachment to superficial markers of worth. True richness, according to the Stoics, lies in the cultivation of virtue and wisdom. The pursuit of wealth, when guided by virtue, can support a meaningful life, but when used to bolster ego or impress others, it becomes a dangerous distraction. When we keep our financial status private, we avoid the trap of letting it define us. Privacy allows us to focus on developing inner strength, gratitude, and contentment. This also prevents the false sense of superiority or insecurity that can come from comparisons. The Stoic path is about focusing on what truly matters, character integrity and inner peace, rather than material accumulation. Imagine a scenario. A professional receives a significant raise and decides to announce it widely. The ensuing reactions, ranging from envy to criticism, begin to weigh on them, introducing unnecessary stress and feelings of guilt. Their happiness from the raise proves fleeting, overshadowed by the complications. Introduced by contrast, another individual quietly acknowledges their financial gain and uses it thoughtfully, perhaps by helping a struggling friend or supporting a community project. This Stoic approach not only preserves their peace, but enhances their sense of purpose and fulfillment. Historical anecdotes also echo this wisdom. Seneca, one of Rome's wealthiest philosophers, openly acknowledged his fortune, but practiced simplicity to remind himself that true wealth lies in self-sufficiency. He demonstrated that the wise use of resources is not for boasting, but for benefiting oneself and others. In alignment with virtue, practice gratitude privately. Acknowledge what you have and remind yourself that material possessions are tools, not measures of worth. Live. Simply follow the story. Principle of moderation. Avoid extravagance that seeks attention or validation. Share discreetly if you choose to give or share your wealth. Do so anonymously, aligning with Seneca's advice on true generosity. Shift focus to impact. Use your resources to create meaningful change without seeking recognition for it. Focus on the legacy of actions, not appearances. Reflect on impermanence. Recognize that wealth, like all externals, is fleeting and should never define your sense of self. Contemplate how virtue can outlast possessions. Value utility over display. Invest in things that enrich your life and the lives of others, rather than in objects meant to impress. Number 3, your generosity and kindness. Seneca's writings on generosity emphasize that the act should be selfless and free of the need for recognition. When we publicize our good deeds, we risk corrupting the virtue of kindness. With ego, true generosity is not about what others see, but about the positive impact it creates and the alignment with one's inner values. The Stoics believed that kindness stems from understanding our shared humanity. To them, every act of generosity is a reminder of the interconnectedness of all people. Boasting about your benevolence diminishes its authenticity and turns it into a transactional act rather than a virtuous one. A Stoic knows that the joy of giving lies in the act itself, not in the applause it may garner or the reputation it builds. Consider a historical anecdote during a famine. A wealthy Stoic quietly distributed grain to those in need without attaching his name to the effort. His motivation was virtue, not vanity, and his community benefited immensely without knowing the source. Another example is modern anonymous donors who provide scholarships or fund community projects motivated by a desire to help rather than to earn accolades. These actions exemplify the purest form of giving, one that uplifts others while preserving the giver's humility, generosity as seen through the Stoic lens also strengthens the giver's character. Each act of kindness reinforces the virtues of compassion, temperance, and justice. The giver learns to value the intrinsic satisfaction that comes from living in accordance with nature's principles, helping others without expectation of return. By keeping one's acts of kindness private, the focus shifts from external validation to personal growth and fulfillment. Help anonymously look for ways to contribute without attaching your name or expecting acknowledgement, whether it's donating to a cause or helping a friend. Let the action speak for itself. Focus on the ACT shift. Your attention from how others perceive your kindness to the intrinsic joy of helping others. Reflect on how each act aligns with your core values. Reflect on interconnectedness. Recognize your acts of generosity are part of a larger web of mutual support and cooperation. Meditate on how your contributions ripple outward to benefit others. Avoid performative giving. Resist the urge to share acts of kindness on social media or in conversations, unless absolutely necessary. Instead, find satisfaction in the quiet fulfillment that comes from selfless action. Reinforce your values regularly. Meditate on the Stoic idea that the reward for virtue is virtue itself. Remind yourself that true generosity is its own reward. Make giving a habit. Incorporate small daily acts of kindness into your routine over time. These actions will strengthen your commitment to living virtuously and generously. Number 4, your health struggles. Health challenges are deeply personal, and while sharing them in the right context can foster support, broadcasting them can lead to unwanted advice, pity, or judgment. The Stoics valued resilience and self-control, advocating for a balanced approach to dealing with life's difficulties. They emphasized the importance of focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, emotions, and responses, rather than the circumstances of our physical condition, instead of dwelling on what is beyond your control. Like the state of your body, focus on your response. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Stoicism does not deny the reality of suffering, but encourages us to face it with courage. Equanimity and gratitude for the lessons it can provide. The Stoic perspective helps us see health struggles as opportunity to cultivate inner strength and resilience, not as barriers to living fully. Consider the example of someone who faces a chronic illness but chooses to use their experience as a way to inspire others quietly without publicizing their struggles. They focus on building a life rich with meaning through their relationships, hobbies, and personal growth. This individual exemplifies the Stoic approach to adversity, showing that challenges can deepen our character when met with patience and self-discipline. Historical accounts of Stoics also reinforce this perspective. Epictetus, who suffered from physical ailments himself, famously taught that our bodies are not truly ours, but tools lent to us by nature. His teachings encouraged others to rise above physical limitations and concentrate on the cultivation of their moral character. Seek trusted confidence. Share health concerns only with those who can genuinely help, like close friends or medical professionals. Limit exposure to unsolicited advice or judgment. Adopt a growth mindset view. Health challenges as opportunities to build resilience and strengthen your character. Ask yourself, how can this experience make me stronger? Focus on habits. Prioritize practices that promote well-being, such as mindfulness, exercise, proper nutrition, and adequate rest. Build routines that foster physical and mental resilience. Reframe setbacks. View health setbacks as reminders of the impermanence of life, motivating you to cherish each moment and live fully despite. Limitations reflect on what remains within your control. Cultivate inner calm practice, daily meditation or breathing exercises to To maintain composure in the face of adversity, develop a regular journaling habit to process your thoughts and emotions privately. Embrace gratitude. Remind yourself of what you still have rather than fixating on what has been lost. Gratitude can shift your perspective from frustration to appreciation, fostering a deeper sense of peace and acceptance. Inspire through action. Lead by example, demonstrating quiet strength and perseverance without seeking recognition or sympathy for your struggles. Number 5. Your fears and insecurities. Fear and insecurity are universal human experiences, yet they are also potential vulnerabilities. When openly shared, the Stoics advised mastering these emotions through rational examination and disciplined practice. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your judgment of them." This wisdom reflects the Stoic belief that much of what troubles us originates not from the external world, but from the way we interpret it. By taking control of our thoughts, we gain mastery over our fears, sharing your insecurities indiscriminately may invite manipulation, unhelpful responses, or judgment that exacerbates the problem. Instead, the Stoics encourage us to look inward, addressing these challenges privately, using Stoic techniques like negative visualization and self-reflection. We can reshape our perspective and fortify our minds. Strength does not come from denying fears or suppressing them, but from confronting them head-on with wisdom, reason, and resolve. Consider the example of someone who struggles with public speaking. If they openly express their anxiety to everyone, they may encounter ridicule or unhelpful advice that undermines their confidence. However, by applying Stoic principles, journaling their fears, visualizing the worst-case scenario, and reframing their mindset, they can approach the challenge with renewed courage over time. They not only conquer their fear, but also grow in self-assurance and resilience. Another historical example is the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who endured enslavement and physical disability. Despite his hardships, he demonstrated remarkable composure by focusing on what he could control: his thoughts, choices, and actions. Epictetus's story serves as a timeless reminder that inner strength is forged by how we choose to respond to adversity and the lessons we draw from it. Epictetus taught that our circumstances, no matter how challenging, do not determine our happiness or peace of mind. What matters is our interpretation of those circumstances and the virtues we cultivate in response. For example, rather than lamenting his physical limitations, Epictetus used them as an opportunity to develop patience, humility, and perseverance. His teachings encouraged others to see hardship not as a curse, but as a crucible for personal growth. Imagine a modern parallel. An individual facing a severe physical injury finds themselves at a crossroads. They can choose to dwell on the unfairness of their condition, or like Epictetus, focus on what remains within their control by channeling their energy into rehabilitation, learning new skills, or inspiring others through their resilience. They transform adversity into a source of strength and purpose. Epictetus's legacy continues to inspire because it underscores a universal truth. True power lies in mastering our inner world. His ability to rise above his circumstances shows that our external conditions may limit our actions, but never our capacity for virtue and wisdom. By practicing this mindset, we too can cultivate an unshakable foundation of inner peace. Journal your thoughts. Use journaling to identify and confront your fears. Privately, writing down your concerns can help you analyze and rationalize them more effectively. Reframe challenges. Practice negative visualization to reduce the power of worst-case scenarios. Imagine what could happen if your fears came true and how you would handle it with courage. Cultivate courage? Start small by facing minor fears and gradually build resilience for greater challenges. Each small victory strengthens your ability to confront larger obstacles. Focus on virtues. Remind yourself that bravery, like all virtues, grows with practice and intentionality. By repeatedly choosing courage over avoidance, you develop a lasting inner strength. Build a support system while privacy is important. Confide selectively in trusted individuals who can offer perspective and encouragement. Without judging their insights can reinforce your resolve. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, don't be ashamed of needing help. You have a duty to fulfill, just like a soldier on the wall of battle. So what if you are injured and can't climb up without another soldier's help? Imagine a soldier steadfast and resolute guarding their post despite an injury. They could abandon their duty out of pride or fear of judgment. But instead, they call for assistance, knowing that the collective strength of their comrades ensures the integrity of the mission. This metaphor reflects the Stoic understanding of interdependence, a recognition that we are all part of a larger whole, and that seeking help, far from being a sign of weakness, is an acknowledgement of our shared humanity. By doing so, we not only fulfill our own role, but also strengthen the community around us. Marcus Aurelius' words remind us that courage and humility often walk hand in hand, and true strength lies in the wisdom to accept support when needed. Number 6, your future plans. The Stoics emphasize living in the present moment, recognizing that the future is inherently uncertain. Sharing future plans prematurely can create unnecessary pressure, distractions, or even self-doubt. If circumstances shift unexpectedly, when we speak openly about our aspirations, and we risk being tethered to expectations or judgments that may no longer align with our evolving goals. This can lead to frustration, disappointment, or a sense of failure when external circumstances disrupt those plans. By keeping our plans private, we safeguard our energy and prevent the premature loss of motivation. Epictetus advised focusing on what is within your power, your actions, not their outcomes. This Stoic wisdom teaches us that by keeping our plans private, we maintain the flexibility to adapt without the added burden of external scrutiny. Privacy allows us to work diligently toward our objectives while staying grounded in the present moment, instead of seeking validation or approval. We can channel our energy into executing our vision with focus and intention. It fosters a sense of ownership over our efforts and removes the distraction of external opinions. Imagine a scenario: an individual announces their intention to start a new business venture to friends and family. While the initial feedback may be encouraging, unforeseen challenges arise, causing delays or a change in direction. The pressure to meet expectations can overshadow the joy of pursuing the project. In contrast, someone who keeps their plans private can navigate obstacles with freedom and clarity, refining their path without external distractions. This approach allows for a more fluid response to challenges, rooted in personal resilience rather than public obligation. Consider the Stoic principle of focusing on the process rather than the outcome. By prioritizing the effort itself, you cultivate virtues like discipline and patience, which ultimately contribute to long-term success. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the importance of aligning thoughts with purposeful action rather than public declarations. His writings emphasize the power of deliberate, focused effort, a principle that holds true for anyone striving to achieve their goals without unnecessary exposure. Moreover, historical Stoic figures such as Seneca remind us that restraint in communication about future endeavors is an act of wisdom. Seneca observed that speaking less and doing more not only strengthens one's resolve, but also builds an unshakable foundation of self-trust. He understood that when we share our plans too openly, we invite unnecessary scrutiny, which can lead to doubt and distraction. Conversely, when we succeed, Quietly, the victory is ours alone, untainted by the expectations or criticisms of others, allowing us to savor the genuine joy of accomplishment. Seneca's advice is rooted in the understanding that quiet dedication fosters a deeper connection to one's purpose by keeping our intentions private. We create a sanctuary for refinement and self-reflection. This approach also aligns with the broader Stoic ideal of valuing inner virtue over external recognition. It teaches us to focus on what truly matters, the quality of our effort, and the virtues we cultivate along the way. Consider how this mindset applies in today's world, where social media often encourages people to broadcast their aspirations. Prematurely announcing grand plans publicly might generate temporary validation, but it can also create pressure to perform under the watchful eyes of others. When setbacks occur, this public exposure can amplify feelings of failure. By contrast, those who quietly work on their goals without external interference can adapt to challenges with greater clarity and flexibility. This philosophy isn't about secrecy for its own sake, but about cultivating an environment where progress thrives unencumbered. It provides the mental space to align actions with values, ensuring that our pursuits are driven by genuine intent rather than external pressures. Seneca's wisdom invites us to trust the process, emphasizing that the fruits of our labor are sweeter when they stem from disciplined private effort. Ultimately, practicing restraint allows us to celebrate not only the outcome, but the journey itself. The growth, perseverance, and character we develop become the real rewards. Rewards that need no external validation to shine. Prioritize execution. Focus on taking actionable steps toward your goals rather than talking about them. Let results, not promises, speak for your efforts. Stay adaptable. Accept that plans may need to evolve and view this as a natural part of growth. Embrace change as an opportunity for improvement. Celebrate milestones. Privately recognize your progress without seeking validation from others. Use personal reflection to acknowledge your achievements. Limit public commitments. Avoid over-promising. In public settings, to maintain your freedom to pivot when necessary. This ensures flexibility and reduces pressure. Cultivate presence. Remind yourself daily of the Stoic principle to stay anchored in the here and now. Focus on what you can do today to move closer to your goals. Embrace humility. Understand that the journey is often more important than the destination. Keeping plans private helps maintain humility and focus on the process. Number 7. Your personal beliefs or opinions on controversial matters. The Stoics valued harmony and rational discourse, cautioning against unnecessary conflict. They believed that unity and mutual respect were essential for a flourishing society, and that arguments over differing opinions often distract us from what truly matters. Sharing strong opinions on sensitive topics can alienate others, spark divisive debates, or escalate conflicts. Instead, approach controversial matters with curiosity, humility, and an openness to learn, remembering that understanding others does not require agreement. Marcus Aurelius urged us to remember that we share a common humanity, even with those whose views differ from our own. He wrote, "Whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question: what fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I am about to criticize? This introspective practice fosters empathy and encourages us to engage with others constructively rather than defensively. Keeping your beliefs private allows you to reflect on them deeply, adjust them when necessary, and engage in thoughtful dialogue without the need to defend or prove yourself. This self-restraint can foster mutual respect and a deeper understanding of others. Consider how social media platforms often amplify contentious opinions, leading to public disputes that rarely change anyone's mind. These heated exchanges often serve more to entrench opposing views than to foster productive dialogue. Stoic wisdom suggests stepping back from these scenarios, recognizing the futility of arguing for validation. Instead, focus on meaningful one-on-one conversations where both parties are willing to listen and learn. Such exchanges allow for nuanced context and a genuine exploration of perspectives, preserving relationships and nurturing a culture of mutual respect in our modern, hyper-connected world. Practicing discretion in sharing beliefs is more important than ever. Every opinion shared publicly becomes subject to interpretation, often by those who lack the full context of our intentions. Stoics remind us to weigh our words carefully, choosing not to speak unless our contribution is meaningful and virtuous. Silence, when chosen deliberately, can be a powerful tool for maintaining peace and clarity. Furthermore, by keeping our beliefs private, we allow them to evolve naturally without external pressures or the fear of judgment. Reflecting on historical Stoic figures, we see this restraint exemplified. Seneca, for instance, encouraged his followers to engage in debates, not to win arguments, but to seek truth and wisdom. He believed that preserving relationships and focusing on shared values were far more important than asserting one's superiority in discussion. This approach, grounded in mutual respect, aligns perfectly with the idea that the goal of discourse is growth, not division. Seneca's wisdom highlights the importance of prioritizing mutual understanding and shared humanity over the need to dominate a conversation. He often pointed out that in heated debates, egos take precedence, diverting focus from the actual pursuit of truth. Instead, Seneca urged his followers to enter dialogues with a sense of humility, recognizing that every exchange is an opportunity to learn, not just to teach. Imagine a teacher correcting a student's mistake in a way that embarrasses them publicly. This diminishes trust and impedes learning. In contrast, a teacher who privately explains the error fosters respect and encourages growth. This mirrors Seneca's philosophy. Discourse should uplift and enlighten, not belittle. Similarly, in contemporary scenarios, respecting differing opinions while presenting one's perspective can lead to stronger connections and a deeper exchange of ideas. Moreover, Seneca emphasized the timeless Stoic principle of self-awareness in communication. Before speaking, he advised reflecting on one's intentions and whether the words to be spoken serve a virtuous purpose. Through this lens, conversations become acts of service, fostering wisdom and connection rather than creating division. This philosophy not only strengthens personal relationships, but also reinforces the Stoic ideal of living in harmony with others. Listen actively when discussing sensitive topics. Prioritize understanding over being understood. Ask questions to clarify others' perspectives and listen without formulating a rebuttal. Practice self-restraint. Resist the urge to share opinions impulsively, especially on public platforms where tone and nuance can be lost. Pause and reflect before speaking. Seek wisdom. Use Stoic principles to guide your beliefs, ensuring they are rooted in reason and virtue. Regularly question whether your views align with your values. Engage constructively when appropriate. Discuss differing views with empathy and respect. Approach conversations as opportunities to learn rather than debates to win. Reflect on unity. Remind yourself that diversity in thought can lead to growth and collective understanding. Recognize that differing perspectives enrich the human experience. Strengthen self-awareness. Use disagreements as opportunities for introspection. Consider whether your reactions reveal biases or emotional attachments that need addressing. Choose dialogue over debate. Aim for collaborative exchanges that prioritize mutual understanding over proving a point. This fosters trust and preserves relationships. The Stoics teach us that guarding what is private is not about secrecy, but about protecting what is sacred by keeping certain aspects of our lives out of public view. We cultivate inner strength, focus, and tranquility. Privacy allows us to align our actions with our values, free from the distractions of external judgment or validation. In practicing discretion, we embody the essence of Stoicism, focusing on what we can control, living virtuously, and finding peace within. Embrace the wisdom of the Stoics and let your private life be a wellspring of strength and serenity. Let your actions reflect your inner values and let your peace come from within.